Alright, so look, if you spent even 5 minutes looking into the AI creator space, whether that's OF management, digital modeling, or virtual influencers, you already know the market is absolutely exploding. But here's the massive problem. Almost every single agency out there is hit by the exact same wall. They can generate stunning, flawless visuals. Their models look incredible. But the second that model opens her mouth, the illusion is completely shattered. It sounds like a bad GPS system from 2012. What we are breaking down today is the exact technical blueprint to bypass that bottleneck. We're talking about how to break right through the uncanny valley, automate your audio pipeline, and scale a virtual creator to a global, multilingual audience. This isn't just theory, this is the actual system being used behind the scenes to generate real, compounding cash flow. Let's dive in. Let's start with the hard truth. Why do most AI voices fail? I call it the default mistake. What most lazy managers do is take a 500 word script, paste it into an AI generator, click generate once, and call it a day. And what happens? You get this incredibly flat, monotone block of audio. There are no pitch shifts, no breathing patterns, no organic imperfections. To the human ear, that uniformity is an instant red flag. The brain subconsciously detects it, thinks this is a robot, and instantly kills the emotional connection. If your target audience is fans who want a real, intimate relationship with the model, a flat voice completely destroys retention. Now, compare that to the pro synthesis. Pro synthesis is all about understanding human speech psychology. Humans don't speak in perfect, continuous lines of text. We pause, we shift, speeds up when we get excited. Our pitch jumps up and down depending on our mood. By manually injecting these acoustic micro variations into our formatting, we can completely strip away that synthetic robotic texture. This is how you bridge the trust gap. So, what actually makes a voice sound human to our brains? When you strip away all the tech, there are really only four core pillars you need to focus on. First up, we have tone shifts. If you stay in the exact same vocal range throughout a video or a voice note, you sound like a machine. Real humans fluctuate. We drop our tone when we want to sound sincere, and we escalate it when we're hyped. Second is pacing and pauses. There's this weird trend in modern editing to cut out every single frame of silence. Don't do that. Strategic silence, a tiny breath, a hesitation pause, actually makes your message hit 10 times harder. Third is word stress. Think about how you talk to your friends. You don't pronounce every single word with equal weight. You naturally slam emphasis onto the most important verbs or nouns in your sentence to guide the listener's focus. And finally, you need a natural script. If your script is written by ChatGPT with its default formal prompts, no amount of AI magic will save it. You have to write scripts specifically optimized for oral delivery. Shorter sentences, slang, natural fragments, and conversational flow. Now, let's talk about your model's vocal identity. This is where 90% of creators make a huge branding mistake. They go into a stock audio library, find a pre-made voice that sounds halfway decent, and they use it. But think about it. If 10 other agencies are using that exact same voice, your model has zero exclusivity. She doesn't own her identity. To build a truly premium digital model, you need to design a custom proprietary voice. And the way we do this is in 11 labs, is through the voice design tool. Instead of cloning a real person, which can get incredibly messy with legal and copyright issues, you write out a precise descriptive prompt. For example, you don't just say young woman, you prompt a charismatic young woman in her early 20s with a soft, slightly raspy American accent. By dropping the generation guidance slightly, the engine cooks up a totally unique, unpublic voice print. It's highly realistic, it belongs entirely to your model, and no competitor can rip it off with a single click. Okay, let's get into the actual weeds of the software setup. Grab your laptop, open 11 Labs, and let's adjust the engine parameters. First rule: stay away from the V3 model for now. Yes, it's the newest release, and yes, it can do cool gimmicks like whisper or giggle, but because it's still in alpha, it is incredibly unstable. Every time you hit generate, it can slightly warp your bass voice, which ruins consistency. Stick to the V2 multilingual model, it's rock solid. Net. Let's look at the sliders. Here's the magic configuration. First, drag the stability slider down to about 12%. I know that sounds crazy low, but trust me, dropping the stability forces the AI to break out its safe, monotone comfort zone. It triggers expressive, highly organic pitch and emotional swings. Now, keep your similarity at roughly 70%. That's the sweet spot that keeps the voice recognizable without locking down its expressive potential. Finally, push the style exaggeration up. This pulls out those energetic spikes and natural human-like energy fluctuations that we all need to make the audio pop. Now, once your sliders are set, you can't just hit generate on a raw text. You have to learn how to hack the punctuation so you're literally coding human emotion into the speech generator. Here are the 3 formatting rules you need to memorize. Rule number 1. Exclamation marks are your volume and energy knobs. If the AI is sounding a bit too sleepy or casual, slam an exclamation mark at the end of the sentence. It forces the engine to aggressively spike its pitch and inject excitement. Rule number 2. Commas and ellipses are pausing tools. If you need a moment of hesitation, a breath, or a soft transition, use 3 dots or multiple commas. It signals the generator to slow down and create a natural processing pause. Rule number 3. All caps for raw emphasis. If there's a specific word that needs to carry weight, write it in capital letters. The algorithm will naturally apply extra vocal pressure and slow down its punctuation on that word. Now, this is the part where we separate the amateurs from the pros. I call this the chop and stitch editing technique, and it is the ultimate secret sauce. You should never generate your entire script in one massive block. Instead, generate your voiceover in tiny segments, no more than 2 or 3 sentences at a time. For every single segment, hit generate 3 times and download all 3 variations. Because of our low stability settings, each one of those 3 takes is going to sound slightly different. One might have a great energy at the start, another might have a perfect natural laugh or pause at the end. Once you have your takes, drop them into the editing timeline, whether you use Premiere Pro, CapCut, or DaVinci. You don't just pick one take and delete the rest. You listen to all of them. Chop the absolute best syllables, words, or phrases from each variations and stitch them back together into one master composer track. This rapid variation in tone completely breaks the synthetic, predictive patterns of the AI. It sounds incredibly dynamic, fluid, and real. But here's the absolute superpower of this entire system. Once you mastered the realistic voice pipeline, you shouldn't just stop at English. Think about the scaling potential. On YouTube and social media, less than 20% of the active global user base actually speaks English. If you can take your model's English content and dub it into the next 5 major languages, like Spanish, Hindi, or Portuguese, you're instantly doubling or tripling your potential audience size. But for AOFM, you should just do English. But even if you want to change the languages, do this. Use 11 Labs Dubbing Studio. First, go to your timeline, mute your voice track, and export your isolated background music and sound effects. Then, do the reverse. Export just your raw, high quality voiceover. Upload that voice track to the dubbing studio and select your target language. Once it generates, put that new localized audio track back into your timeline. Align it to your visuals, layer it over your original background FSX, and export. Translate your video titles and descriptions with ChatGPT, upload new audio track to YouTube Studio, and boom, you have just opened an entirely new country for your model. Look, At the end of the day, running a successful creator agency isn't about being lazy and letting automation do 100% of the work. It's about leveraging these incredibly powerful tools to create a product that is so polished, so high fidelity that your audience can't tell the difference. If you apply these formatting settings, use the batch generation method, and start scaling across multiple languages, you're going to be light years ahead of 99% of the other agencies in this space. So, stop waiting, open up 11 Labs, design your custom voice, and start synthesizing today. If you have any questions about this workflow, drop them in the comments below. Let me know what you're building, and don't forget to subscribe for more high level system breakdowns. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.